Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Live Ones. It is Wednesday, April 13th, 2022. And as you can probably tell from the different shadows than you could normally see, I'm recording this in the morning with the sun coming right at me through my window because it's the first Wednesday of Major League Baseball season. And traditionally, if you're going to do an early afternoon game, you do it midweek. And a lot of teams are just, doing that for a nice little gesture for the fans. But it does lead to having to come on the air early and do the capping early to make sure that we get everything in. Heck of a day in sports yesterday. The NBA playoff, the play-in tournament started. The Nets absolutely steamrolled the Cavaliers as we thought that they would. That line of minus 10 just wasn't attractive enough for me to take. But the Timberwolves surprisingly took down the Clippers. I honestly thought that the Clippers had a bit more there, had a bit better momentum going into that. But we got the Nets will get another chance, or I'm sorry, the Cavaliers will get another chance against the winner of the Hornets Hawks game tonight. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. We've got a full slate of baseball today to get to. But first, I want to just, if you didn't see this game last night, it was a little bit of a circus between the Braves and the Nationals. The game got away from the Nationals very early on, and they were getting blown out late. And it led to a scene in the eighth inning where set the stage for you. It was first and second for the Braves, and I think it was Ozzie Albies up at bat. It was Guillermo Heredia on second base. And Ronald Acuna Jr. was pinch running, and it led to this beautiful masterpiece of a sequence. I'm just gonna let it play for you. So there he's got the force out at first, and we've got a rundown. Acuna's stuck in a rundown, and he's signaling to Heredia, who's gone to third, to go home. Heredia gets caught in a rundown here, and then this just absolute craziness happens. By the way, while this is happening, Acuna's going to second base. And you can see right here, the Nationals catcher, Ruiz, interferes. And after all that, the Braves wind up scoring a run on interference. It's just emblematic of how I expect a whole lot of the national season to go. And then, after that, of course, the game really, really got away from them, and they wound up running out of bullpen pitchers, and they had to put longtime speedy guy D. Gordon on the mound, former Los Angeles Dodger. I always love it when position players come up to pitch, because anything and everything can and does happen. Darnaud is at the plate, and this little magnificent bit of tomfoolery ensues. I've seen it 10 or 15 times now, and it's cracking me up every single time. The game was so far out of reach at this point that D. Gordon just kind of lobs an easy one in there, but he just can't get it across the plate. This stuff happens in baseball and blowouts sometimes. Anyway, so yeah, that was that. That was a great game. If you have MLB.TV, it's definitely worth going and watching the archive game. And hang on a second, the audio's back. All right, that was a little bit of fun that everybody got to have yesterday. But we've got a big slate of games to go over today. We're going to start with the NBA play-in tournament and the Hornets and the Hawks. And the thing that anytime I see two teams squaring off that have that run an incredibly fast-paced offense and really don't care much for the defense, I take a look at the total. The total right now is slated at 235.5. Honest to God, with how bad the Hawks' defense is, I honestly think the Hornets, with the tear that they've been on coming into the end of the season, are going to be able to get probably at least 125 of that by themselves. And, of course, they're going to be giving up a whole lot of points, too. This is a total that could easily hit 250, I think, tonight, even as tight as, relatively tight as they're going to be. They're going to try to play on defense. These are just two really, really bad teams on defense that don't really care to play that and play a very high tempo offensive style that scores a whole lot of points and just tries to beat you that way. So I think this is a pretty good, safe lock for tonight. Hornets Hawks over 235.5. 1 o'clock game of baseball today. Phillies versus the Mets. A matchup that we've seen a couple of times before when Max Scherzer was on the Nationals. But we have Max Scherzer making his start today, coming back from the hamstring problem that he had coming in at the end of spring training versus Aaron Nola. I'm just watching this Phillies team so far, and aside from the first game, I'm not really seeing the offensive explosion that was expected. I mean, obviously, they came back from a 4-run deficit in the first game of the series versus the Mets late. So, I mean, they can score runs in bunches, definitely, but it's not consistent so far. With Max Scherzer on the mound, I like him to, I like the trend to continue of the Phillies not really getting out of the box too fast. Aaron Nola on the mound for the Phillies, he's always kind of hit or miss, and he has been for years. But man, he looked pretty solid for the first 6 innings in his start against the Athletics on opening day. He's got this haircut. He's aggressive now. He's throwing fastballs right in the zone, challenging every hitter. Sometimes it doesn't pay off late in the game. He gave up a solo shot. I think it was in the 4th inning, and then, of course, in the 7th, he let a couple of guys get on base and then gave up the 3-run home run. But I think these two are Noel's a veteran at this point. He knows what he's doing enough. And between him and Scherzer, I think that they can keep the run total through the first 5 on this nice and low. So we're going to go with the same play that we did with this yesterday. Phillies Mets first 5 under 4.5 runs. The Giants and the Padres. Sean Manaea, easy for me to say, Manaea versus Logan Webb. I'm just not stepping in front of Logan Webb. He looked fantastic all last season, and came in, had his first start against Miami, looked solid there. You're getting the Giants here on a money line price at -130. I think you got to take that with Webb on the mound. I mean, he's just until he has a bad start, like an atrociously bad start, I'm always going to be a backer of his. That is the play today on that game. Giants money line. And then, of course, Mariners versus White Sox. We've got Robbie Ray starting for the Mariners, and we've got Dallas Keuchel making his first start for the Chicago White Sox. Keuchel, of course, had a really, really, really bad year last year. He is definitely past the zenith of his abilities as a starting pitcher. And, you could say he had a run of bad luck. You can say some breaks did not go his way, but the man still finished last year with an xERA of 6.15. That's just absolutely atrocious. That's just terrible. Even with how weak the Mariners can be on offense, and we saw that a lot last year. They were the dead last offense in Major League Baseball in terms of batting average. They can score runs when they need to, especially against bad pitching. So I think the safe play on this game for this evening is taking the Mariners team total over 4 runs. I think they can easily plate 5. I think they can probably get 4 of those before Keuchel gets knocked out. So that is it for me. Final play of the day. Everyone bet safe, stay safe. Follow us on Twitter at Live One Sports. Check us out on Roku and Fire TV at the Live Ones. Have yourselves a great Wednesday afternoon, and I will see you next time.